Awesome. All right. So today, we're just going to do some really gentle yoga, like not even really coming up into warrior one or anything like that. And I'm going to throw some restorative poses kind of in the middle. So we'll just do some movement and then chill out and then a little bit more movement and then just kind of melt into our yoga nidra at the end. So let's just go ahead and start. You can just sit comfortably. I'm up on a little thing. We're going to be sitting for a few minutes. So just go ahead and find what works for you. Also, you're going to want to have a bolster or your pillows or whatever you use. Potentially a block or two, an eye pillow maybe, and a blanket or two as well. All right, so just coming to that nice, comfortable seated position, you can let your eyes close and just take a few deep breaths in and out. Just letting yourself sink into this time, connect to this time and this space, and just be on our mats without our minds running all over the place. And let's just bring our hands together at our heart. So I thought we could kind of have a theme today of well, there's a mantra called Om Mani Padme Hum, which means the jewel of the lotus. So let's start by bringing our hands into lotus mudra. You're going to keep your pinky and thumb together and then the base of your hands, and then just open on up. And just allow that to sit at your heart. And again, a few nice deep breaths in, a nice tall spine. So the lotus is a symbol that's often referred to because it's a beautiful flower that grows through a lot of sludge and mud, and it still comes to the surface of the water and then blossoms and is completely free and clean of all of the stuff that it went through to grow. So it's a nice metaphor for us just working through everything in our lives and knowing that we all go through just all sorts of stuff, but there's always room to blossom, and often that blossoming doesn't happen without all of the stuff that we have to go through in order to get there. So we can do a breath practice along with this mudra. We're going to start by just taking a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, just fold your fingers in the back so the hands can come together, arms can straighten as they go down. And then as you inhale, you can bring them back up again. And let's just take a few minutes of just breathing like this. Eyes can stay closed. Exhale, hands drop down. You might even feel like there's some energy dropping down, and then as you inhale, more energy coming back up. Om Mani Padme Hum. The jewel of the lotus. And as we go on here, just notice how the breath gets steadier and a little bit softer. Maybe feel a little bit more connected inward, tuning out everything outside of you. And as you're doing this, you might also picture what that lotus flower looks like as it blooms as your hands open. They can be different colors, white, pink, yellow. So you might be visualizing an actual flower opening up in your hands as you come back up. Let's take about 4 more breaths with this. Again, exhaling down and inhaling back up. And this next time that you come back up, just allow yourself to sit with this for a moment with that lotus open right in front of your heart. Taking a few cleansing breaths. And then you can gently let the hands just seal together. Thumbs at your sternum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The jewel of the lotus. We'll also come back to this mudra a few different times throughout class. So if you wish, you can keep just a gentle gaze with the eyes just soft, or you can feel free to look at the screen if you want. But next time you inhale, let's just take the arms up and overhead. And we're just going to bend that left elbow. You can grab onto it and just take a handful of breaths here. Find a nice stretch in the back of that arm. Maybe reaching the fingertips towards the top of the back. And if you want, you can even find a lean over to the side. And then come back up and just swap the arms out. Same thing, sitting tall, maybe leaning over to the side. And you can come back up and just release the arms down, shake them out a little bit. Let's just take a few shoulder rolls here. Maybe let your head roll around a little bit. Good. All right, from here, we're going to be coming up into tabletop. And so if you've got anything underneath you, you can go ahead and move it out of the way. If you want, you can have a blanket underneath your knees. As I mentioned with class today, we're not going to be doing, we're going to be low. So we're going to be on our hands and knees for several things that we do here. So you might want to have that blanket underneath the knees. So just get yourself here, hands just under your shoulders. You can shake your head out, let yourself sway a little side to side, and maybe let the eyes close once again, and just let your body start to move organically. So that might be some big circles with your hips back to your heels, or even just some undulations in the spine here. Maybe just regular cat-cows, exhaling as you round the back. And inhaling as you curl the tailbone up. And just moving at your own pace and enjoying this process. Letting your body do what it feels like doing. And take about 4 or 5 more breaths. Make sure that you even out whatever you're doing from side to side. Always letting the breath just move with you. Good. And take your time making your way back to a neutral spine here. So we're going to take a twist. Our left hand is just going to sneak underneath that right arm. You can bring your head on down and you might just leave the right hand as it is, or maybe walk it forward, or you can wrap it behind the back. And just breathe here. And as you're here, just make sure your face is soft, that you're not clenching the jaw, not furrowing the brow. Just be. Let this practice just release any tension or stress that sits in your body. And then inhale, bring yourself back to center. And we'll just switch sides. It's the same thing on the other side. Just take your deep breath in. And as you exhale, that right arm can come on down. Settle in, maybe walking that left hand forward, maybe wrapping, maybe just leaving it as is. And just letting your body sink in. And next inhale, you can come back up. And once again, just let yourself move a little bit. Cat cows or swaying side to side, maybe just shaking the head out. And making your way back to a neutral spine. We're going to inhale, come on up to our knees. You can take your arms all the way up and overhead. And just exhale, hands together at your heart. So we're going to take our hands to our hips. Make sure you're kind of in the middle of the mat. I'm going to move back just a few inches here. And hands at your hips. You can look out in front of you. I might be looking like I'm saying the opposite. We're going to take our left leg out in front of us. And just let yourself start to kind of sink in here. So that back knee is down, the top of the foot can be totally grounded, or you can have the toes curled under, whichever you prefer. And then let's take our hands to our heart. And again, open up into that lotus mudra. So just breathe here. You might even find a little hint of a back bend. Maybe even a smile. Good. Hands can come back together. Maybe lay off just a little bit. So lifting up a little bit and then taking that right elbow outside of that left knee. Pressing the palms together, just finding a nice twist here. If you want, you can straighten that back leg, or you can just leave the knee down. And again, breathe. Good. Next time you exhale, let's take the hands down. Go ahead, straighten your back legs, step it on back, downward dog. Just take 5 breaths here. You can pedal the feet, shake your head out. Again, move as you wish. Maybe one leg comes up in the air at a time. Maybe you just hang out and be still. Maybe you take a deep breath and just sigh it out. Good. On your next exhale, you can just bend the knees, come back down to tabletop. Inhale, arms come all the way back up and overhead again. Just exhale, hands to your heart. And then same thing on the other side. So just taking the hands to the hips and step that right foot out in front of you. Start to just sink in. Taking a few moments here, maybe bobbing a little bit, and then hands can come to your heart again, finding that lotus mudra. Maybe a little hint of a back bend. Good. You can come back to center, seal the hands together. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, that left elbow outside of that right knee. Nice and steady, palms pressed together. If you wish, you might straighten that back leg, only if you want to. Good. As you exhale, again, hands come on down, straighten the back legs, step on back, downward dog, 5 breaths once again. You can move as you wish. You can be still. You can lift up to the balls of the feet and then sink back into the heels. Good. Before we come out of this downward dog, your choice of how wide your feet are. It can be kind of nice to have them a little further apart. We're just going to lift the heels, so we're coming up to the balls of the feet, and then turn the heels over to the right, gently just sink back down, take a few breaths. And then as you inhale, heels back up through center, over the other side, same thing. And once again, back to your regular downward dog. On an exhale, once again, just coming back to that tabletop and let yourself move once again. Some little cat-cows or just undulating the spine. Maybe sinking back to a little child's pose. Feel like you're just gliding as we move through all of this. Good. Make your way back to neutral. Once again, we're going to come on up to the knees. Arms extend all the way up and overhead, and just exhale, hands together at your heart. Good. So we're going to do the same thing again with hands at the hips. Step your left leg out in front of you. And then this time, inhale, arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, come into cactus arms, and let yourself just sink in. Letting the whole front body open up. And then as you exhale, hands can come down. Let the hips just start to sink on back, walking yourself back. And you can either hang out here, maybe let the hips sway around, play around with opening up the back of the leg, or if you want, you can go forward and back a little bit. Just taking some time, being here, letting your body open up, no rush. And then you can bring yourself back forward again. Let's take our hands inside that left foot. You can walk it over to the side and just play around here. So you might just stay up on your hands, or you might come down to your forearms. You might curl your back toes under, straighten that back leg and move around a little bit. Just let yourself play and notice where your body wants to open, where it wants to sink in, what it wants to do here. Good. If you're down on your forearms, so we're going to take this into a twist. If you're down on your forearms and you can twist from there, you can stay. Otherwise, that right hand is going to come down. And maybe just starting with that left hand on the knee or at the thigh, or maybe taking that arm up, maybe wrapping it. And if you want to, if your thigh is really open, you can bend that back knee, reach back and find your foot. Just find what works for you today. You don't have to force anything. Good. As you exhale, unravel, both hands come back inside, but then just walk the foot back in, straighten the back leg, step on back to downward dog, pedal it out. You might want to take that right leg up in the air and shake it out a little. And you're welcome to hang out in down dog for a few breaths, or if you want to, you can inhale to plank, exhale lower, inhale through your cobra, and come back to downward dog. We're eventually all going to meet in tabletop, so just take your time getting here. And again, just bringing yourself back to some of those cat-cows, or just letting your body move the way that it wants to. Good. Come on back to neutral. Give yourself a moment to get here. Again, making sure you even out both sides. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So you can just inhale, come on up, arms up and overhead. Exhale your hands together at your heart. And then hands can come to your hips. That right leg can step out in front of you. And then same thing here, sink in. And then arms can inhale up. Exhale, bend at the elbows. Take a few breaths, the whole front body opening. Good. As you exhale, hands can come down, hips can sink on back. And maybe you just hang out back here, sway a little bit, move around a little bit. Maybe you inhale forward and exhale back, just going back and forth. Just continuing to breathe, doing what feels good in your body. And then as you're ready, you can inhale back forward and take your hands inside of that right foot, walk it over to the side. And then same thing here, let's take about 5 or 6 breaths, just play around. You might just sit here. Might come down to the forearms, you might straighten that back leg, sway a little front and back. Just listen to your body and what it wants to do. You might even close your eyes and just allow yourself to move however is calling to you. And then taking that step further into a twist, left hand down, or if you're down on your forearms and you can stay down there, you can take that right hand to your knee. The arm comes up and wraps. And once again, if that back thigh is nice and open, you might reach back and grab the foot. And just release, bring yourself on back to the hands here. You can start to walk that right foot in, straighten the back leg. One more time, downward dog. Pedal it out, maybe shake that left leg out up in the air. If you wish, you can come through that little flow to plank, chaturanga, cobra or upward dog, and back to down dog. Just take your time. And then as you exhale, we'll come back to tabletop for a second, and we're gonna set up for a visit to a restorative child's pose. So as I mentioned, we'll do a few restorative poses as we go through class. So if you have a block, I like to do this with a block, but you don't have to. You can make kind of a little ramp for your bolster. Or you can just have the bolster down flat, or you can even do this without any props if you prefer. So main thing is just to get nice and comfortable. Let your whole torso be supported. So I like to kind of scoop my knees up on the side and then just sink on down. And let your head turn one way or the other. I'll let you know when we're about halfway through and you can turn your head the other way. And if you do have a block underneath, there's usually a bit of space behind it in between the bolster and the floor. So it's kind of nice to wrap your arms in that space like you're hugging the bolster. And take a few deep breaths, just sigh it out. Let your body just sink in here. There's nothing to do for a little bit. So check back in with your face. Make sure that you're not holding tension there. You can always bring a little smile to your face to make sure that you're not clenching the jaw or have a bunch of tension at the third eye. You just want to soften the face and let go. Just being easy in our body. Notice how the breath naturally just starts to slow down. If you wish, you can make the breath deeper, or you can just let it relax and do whatever it feels like. And on your next inhale, you can just lift the head, turn it the other way. I'm going to keep mine facing the same direction because of my microphone, but just let yourself settle back in. If there's any other little adjustments that you need to make to be more comfortable, take the time to do that. And we're still going to be here for a few minutes. As you lay here, you might feel your belly pressing against the support underneath you. And you might even deepen the breath to really fill the whole torso, including the back body, with your breath. So just take 10 more breaths here. And then just take your time, slowly making your way up. You might just press up and off the bolster. You can push off to the side, but we'll be using it again in a minute, so keep it nearby. And then whatever feels good here, you might come back into downward dog. You might just straighten one leg back behind you at a time and press into the heel. Or even take the leg up in the air and circle the ankle around. After having our legs or knees bent for so long, it can feel good to just stretch that out. And take your time, shake your head out, move around, do whatever feels good here. Because from here, we're simply going to be coming down onto the floor. All right, so take your time, bring yourself on down. We're going to use our bolster again and just take a nice wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to turn a little bit just because the fireplace is right there. But I'm going to do the same thing. And you can as well. If you have 2 blocks, you might wish to stack them. I'm going to have my bolster out in front of me. You can always be seated a little bit up on a blanket if you wish, or not. And just scoot yourself forward until you're just finding kind of a nice stretch here. It doesn't have to be really forcing anything. And you might just come forward with your forearms right on the bolster. You might come all the way down, resting your forehead down, or again, like when we were in child's pose, you can turn your head one way or the other. And just take your time. If you want to deepen it, do it with just 1 block or even no blocks or no bolster. We won't be here for too long, but just get in so you're kind of in a spot that enjoys this. You might sway a little side to side. And just letting your body relax into it. And always letting the breath be your friend here. If you want to be taking this into as far as you can go with it and then just sit with it, you are welcome to do that. Or if you just want to keep it more easy and feel good, you can do that as well. Once again, let yourself take 10 more breaths here. An opportunity to go deeper, or maybe just to sway a little side to side. Good. As you're ready, you can bring yourself back up. And just slowly let the legs come together. You can move this stuff off to the side. Again, just not having it too far out of reach. And let's just lean back for a second. You can lean back on your hands. Just bring your feet wide, knees in. A few little windshield wipers here feel nice, especially after having that really deep stretch in the inner thighs. All right. So we're going to do another deep stretch here. We're going to come into pigeon pose, which isn't really a restorative pose, but I guess it can fit in here with our gentle yoga class. So I'm going to give you two options though. First one is just having your right leg at a 90-degree angle out in front of you, and then the left leg at a 90-degree angle also. This is actually called 90-90 pose. And then you can just walk your hands forward. But if you want to get in deeper here, get your stuff off to the side, you can maybe put a blanket underneath that right hip and then just lift yourself up, sinking into a full version of pigeon pose. And maybe coming down to the forearms. We'll just settle in here for about 2 minutes. So just find whichever one you have a preference for. They are both a little bit different in the muscles that they get into, but it's along the same lines. So just choosing whichever one you're going to be getting into today, and then just letting yourself sink in and just be here. Always coming back to the breath. And as you're here, if you want, you can bring that lotus mudra back as well, just depending on how you are resting on your arms. If you're down on your forearms, you can definitely make this mudra happen. But if you're using your hands on the ground, you might skip it. And just let everything soften into this. Steady breathing. Just allowing a quiet energy to flow with you as we're here in class. So take about 5 more breaths. And if you have the lotus mudra going on, just sealing the hands back together, bringing yourself on up. And we're all going to make our way into downward dog. So regardless of whichever pose you were in here, just moving yourself around, maybe through tabletop and coming all the way up. And again, just pedaling the feet, shake your head out, do anything that feels good to you here. And then we'll be switching sides. So if you're doing that 90-90 pose, you might come back down to tabletop and then just bring that left leg out in front of you at that 90-degree angle, right leg also at a 90-degree angle, and then just sinking forward. Or if you're going to take it further into that pigeon pose, you might wish to have a little cushion underneath that left hip. Just find whatever is working best for you today and then sink in. And if you do have your hands free and you wish to bring that lotus mudra back in here, feel free. And again, you can just come back to the breath. When the breath gets steady, the mind gets steady. So whenever our mind is not steady, we can use our breath to just come back to the present moment and to slow everything down, even to just kind of distance ourselves from all the stuff that the mind is doing. And you might bring a little smile to your face here and feel that resonate through your body. Feel the whole body smiling as it's here. Letting this be easy on you. Once again, take 5 more breaths. You might also find a little sway here. It can be kind of nice just to explore a little bit. Just from some little movement side to side. And if you've got the mudra going, go ahead, bring your hands together. If you're down low, you can walk yourself back up. And then same thing, we're just going to bring ourselves back up to that downward dog, just making your way there in the best way possible from whichever pose you're in. Good. Take about 10 breaths and let yourself do whatever you feel like. If you want to come through one more flow, if you want to shake out one leg up in the air, maybe even open up into a wild thing. If you simply want to come back to tabletop and do some cat-cows. All just at your own pace. I'm just going to check our time quick. All right. So I was going to potentially offer one more restorative pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, which is the one walk down and then the bolster, and then you lay back on it. And you can either have your feet together and knees open, or, you know, legs out straight or knees falling in. If you want, you can set yourself up that way for Yoga Nidra, but we don't have time to do the full pose and then come into Shavasana and then start Yoga Nidra. So if you want, you can set yourself up like that for our meditation. Otherwise, just take some time here to get yourself nice and cozy, and just take about a minute to settle in. If you need to quick use the restroom or anything, feel free to do that. And as you are settling in, I will tell you about our intention for our Nidra, which I'm going to actually use the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum as part of the intention. So just remembering that mantra basically means the jewel of the lotus, and you know, through struggle and strife and mud and dirt, that's how we grow, that's how we bloom, and that's how we come to our fullest expression. And we also don't get to that without going through all of that. So our intention for today is, I continually grow and bloom despite enduring life's struggles and challenges. Life is always happening for me, not to me. So I thought that would be a nice energy to instill into our Yoga Nidra. Oops. So continue just taking the time to get still, to get comfortable. If you wish, you can place an eye pillow over your eyes. We won't be doing any more movement, but if you do wish to just quick hug your knees into your chest, or take a happy baby, or anything else that feels right, go for it. I'll start in just a minute. So if you're all set already, just let yourself take a few deep breaths in through the nose. Just open up the mouth, side out. Just in through the nose, open it up, side out. And maybe one more time. If you need to do any final movements, like shaking out the arms or legs or getting yourself as comfortable as possible, just go ahead, take the time to do that. And then just get still. And let go of all thoughts, worry, and tension. And feel a deep sense of contentment and peace in your heart. And now allow yourself to receive this ancient prayer, which captures the spirit and the intention of this practice. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. And lead me from the time-bound state of consciousness to the timeless state of being that I am. And now allow yourself to receive the following intention. Om Mani Padme Hum. I continually grow and bloom despite enduring life's struggles and challenges. Life is always happening for me, not to me. Now bring all of your attention to your face. And with your next exhale, allow all expression to drop from the face. Releasing the tiny muscles around the eyes. Allowing the eyes to simply rest back in the head. Releasing the muscles around the mouth. And the tongue resting in the mouth. The lower jaw gently opening and softening. Allowing the cheeks to soften towards the floor. The scalp resting on the skull. And the neck softening and easing. Simply be available to the entire range of sensations in the face and in the head. Now drop into a sense of your whole bodily presence. Embrace this present moment's experience, undistorted by what you like or don't like. Let go of what is going, and let come that which is coming. And this becomes your connection to Source. Now release any struggle to try to make anything happen. And simply relax. Allow any commentary of the mind to dissolve into sensation in the body. Be totally absorbed and fully engaged. And now bring your attention to the natural flow of the breath. Make no effort to change or to manipulate the breath. Just simply ride along with its spontaneous flow. Breath moving in and breath moving out. Stay relaxed. Now observe the natural flow of the breath between the root at the base of the pelvis and the crown at the top of the head. Visualize a clear glass tube between the root and the crown. See a thin stream of golden light that ascends from bottom to top as you inhale and descends from top to bottom as you exhale. Just like mercury rising and falling in a thermometer, your consciousness is ascending from the root to the crown and descending from the crown down to the root. Release any struggle around the breath and breathe slowly, deeply, effortlessly. Feeling the movement of breath within this pathway. With each breath in, know that you are breathing in. And with each breath out, know that you are breathing out. And now release any control over the breath. And allow the breath to become so quiet, so soft, that it is almost imperceptible. Allow your attention to gently rest at the heart center. And breath effortlessly flowing into the heart with each inhale. And the breath spontaneously flowing out of the heart with each exhale. And now do absolutely nothing from now on. Release any effort to try to make anything happen. And settle into the silent spaciousness of being. There is nothing for you to do. And now follow my guidance as we move our attention through different points on the body. Let your detached attention release the dormant healing powers that are trapped in the meridians and connected organs to carry out healing from within. As I guide you from point to point, remain in a non-doing, silent awareness. Resolve to yourself that you will stay alert and awake. Now bring your undivided attention to the third eye, space between the eyebrows, pit of the throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, pit of the throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, pit of the throat, middle of the chest, right side of the chest, middle of the chest, left side of the chest, middle of the chest, navel point, middle of the pubic bone, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Right ankle, knee, hip, middle of the pubic bone, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Left ankle, knee, hip, middle of the pubic bone, navel point, middle of the chest, pit of the throat, and back to the brow center, the third eye. Gather all of your attention at the third eye, letting the non-doing presence fully manifest here. Observe the vast stillness and silence. Resting in this vastness, allow whatever comes into your field of awareness to be present without comment or judgment. Witness it as it floats by like clouds in the sky. Now feel as if you are a seed planted in the soil. It is dark, moist, and cool. You know you are here to experience the sun. You can feel its warmth and energy penetrating through the soil, showing you which direction to go. You send out a tiny shoot, breaking the surface of the ground above. At the same time, sending roots down deep into the earth for support and nourishment. Feel yourself growing upwards towards the light of the sun. higher and higher, bursting forth into your full expression as a tree. See the tree that you are. You don't need to compare yourself with other trees, for you are incomparably unique just as you are. You are you, standing fully now in yourself just as you are. Feel yourself expressing your full potential as a tree, alive, vibrant, and full of life-giving energy. The light that made you emanates from within you. And the more you embrace the tree that you are, the more that light shines through you. Now give yourself the permission to enter into the deepest level of relaxation right now. Let go. There is nothing to do or to achieve. Dissolve and disappear into stillness. And be open, empty of all doing, all past and all future. Merge into this space and be empty. Notice any sensations, thoughts, or images simply floating by like clouds on a clear blue sky. Letting it all gather and dissipate and come and go. Simply be the space in which it is all happening. Here, your intentions and your affirmations are actualized and fulfilled with an effortless ease. Now allow yourself to receive the following intention. Om Mani Padme Hum. I continually grow and bloom despite enduring life's struggles and challenges. Life is always happening for me, not to me. Om Mani Padme Hum. I continually grow and bloom despite enduring life's struggles and challenges. Life is always happening for me, not to me. Om Mani Padme Hum. Allow this intention to go to the deepest levels of recognition with no hesitation. There is nothing for you to do. And now bring your attention back to the space between the eyebrows. And feel all the energies of your body from all meridians activated, purified, and balanced. All channels are open, and the life force is flowing freely, healing the body, calming the mind. Open your heart and feel content. And just experience this. At this sacred moment, your whole being has made a major paradigm shift. Establish yourself in total trust and faith that remains free from any need to be in control. Feel totally unburdened and free to move through life with an effortless ease. Feel the presence of your higher self guide, protect, and bless you. Feel energy and grace fill you and surround you at all times. And do not hesitate, doubt, or dispute it. Let it come naturally. Now begin to become aware of the rising and falling of the breath. And in a very, very gentle way, feel yourself coming back to the surface of awareness, knowing that there is no rush here. Perhaps deepening the breath. Just noticing the space between you and the floor below you. Feeling the clothes on your skin. And as you are ready, you can begin just the slightest of movements, fingertips and toes, head side to side. Knowing that there is no rush here, take your time as you begin to come out of this meditation. You may wish to take a long stretch, extending the arms overhead, perhaps hugging the knees into the chest. Whatever feels natural for you here as you begin to come out. And then just at your own pace, let yourself curl up into a little ball on the right hand side, staying comfortable. And one more time, receiving our intention for today. Om Mani Padme Hum. I continually grow and bloom despite enduring life's struggles and challenges. Life is always happening for me, not to me. Every time you find yourself in reaction, you are empowered to replace it with this intention. And just take your time. As you're ready, you might begin to press back up to seated. Let the eyes stay closed. Just keep your journey inward for now. And as you do come back up, you can bring your hands back together at your heart and just come back one more time to that lotus mudra. Let yourself feel grounded and steady, just being here. And as you exhale, you can curl the fingers in, hands just reaching down. As you inhale, coming back up to the lotus mudra, take about 4 or 5 rounds of these, exhaling down and inhaling back up. And when that feels complete for you, just allow the hands to seal together at the heart. Make a vow to yourself that you will take this calm, centered, open energy back out into the world with you. Always sharing it with others, but most importantly, first sharing it with yourself, knowing that the more you have, the more you have to give. So thank you, ladies, so much for being with me this afternoon. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Namaste.